So unfortunately, our last broadcast was taken down from YouTube. So as you guys know, our format, for the most part, was to show a lot of videos and discuss them and go frame by frame and figure out how animations are done. And so the last time we had a live show, we got this notice in my email, and I checked it out. And so UMG shut the broadcast down because we had shown one of their clay animation videos. So they didn't just like put ads on there or anything like that. They just decided, like, we don't want you to show your entire thing. We don't want to get ad revenue. We just want to, close your video off from the world. And I was kind of like, where did this come from? And I just decided, I'm just going to ignore it and move on. But I have to say that it's really frustrating trying to show videos now for my audience, because YouTube is getting so strict. So I don't know if I should go over to Twitch, or maybe some other, maybe like Vimeo has like a live broadcast feature or something. But I'm really considering doing something like that because of it's not just my channel. It seems to be worldwide. A lot of smaller creators like me are running into issues like this. So I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I'm kind of planning on moving away from YouTube and seeing what happens. Trying to see what my options are. If anybody out there has any ideas on a good solution, of course, just let me know. So that being said, let's move forward. And so I wanted to talk about a podcast that I found. And so Terry Ivel is a college student right now, and I think he said he's going to Sheridan College, and he's learning stop motion. He does have a YouTube channel that I've subscribed to for a long time ago, actually. And one of his famous videos is I think it's called the Fish King. And I'm not actually sure if I can. Maybe he's got a. I don't really want to lose my place though, because I was just listening to a podcast, but that's okay. So let's see about. Let me see if the link is here. There it is. Okay, so it's YouTube user Terrymation. So it looks like what he's done, he's actually got some of his, looks like he's been uploading his podcast here since 2 weeks ago, which is really cool. But he's got looks like some tutorial type videos and cell animation. And of course, he's also getting back into stop motion. And if you scroll down here, you'll see a lot of his, he's got some armatures that he animated. This one here was, I think we actually linked this on our Facebook group, which is stop motion axolotl and a snail, and the animation is it's really well done. Is it this one? There's another one as well that he's done, which is really good, and I really like the style of his characters. Even though this one it's not complete, obviously it has no clothes and all that, but still the design is kind of cartoony, kind of quirky. You can see sort of the struggles he has with trying to use a rig and get this puppet to walk. So it looks like he did not use tie downs, which that makes things pretty tough. So he picks up the snail and throws it up and eats it. So, but there's a lot more on here, and I think, where is the Fish King? Here it is. Let's play this one. I think this is the one that I was talking about.
I am the Fish King. I am the Fish King. Yada, yada, yada.
So, anyways, pretty good stuff. And his, I guess there's no blog, it's just a podcast. So we got short stories. which I am assuming, and I have not talked to him about this yet, but he's got some stories in here, which is really great. So maybe ideas for animation. And then he's got his animation industry podcast. And so I've gone in here and I've listened to, I'm on my second one, halfway through. And there's one, and oops, not this one. There's one that's really good. It's this one, which is episode 21. It's Maximilian Lopez, founder of Apartment D, on how to get stop motion client work. And it's a pretty long podcast. This one is 190 minutes, I believe, or no, 128 minutes. So 2 hours, and it goes through his experiences as trying to get into animation, trying to get into studios, trying to do professional work on his own with his friends, the ups and downs of the whole process itself. So if you guys are gonna check it out, this would probably be the first one I would listen to, or I would suggest listening to, and it's at Terry Eibel, TerryIbele.com. Also, I'm gonna be on a podcast with him on this Friday, although he's probably not going to broadcast it until sometime later in August. And so, you guys can look for that as well down the line. But yeah, check him out. And yeah, so hey, Hoser Lou and Whiskey and Omar, what's going on, guys? Hopefully you guys are good. Alright, so now, moving forward as usual. So tonight's show we normally reserve for our feedback week, but nobody submitted any videos or pictures or anything. So that frees us up for more bad apples. And so I've got this scene which I worked on today, which I've set up. Now before, actually, you know what? Before I get into this one, let's go to desktop. So, if you guys recall, we actually worked on this one scene, which would be the opening scene, and that is where we zoomed in from from this one shot where it was an establishing shot showing the house, the tree, and the idea was that we would zoom in, we would have the clouds moving by, and we animated the crow and the worm a little bit. And when we did that, the idea was that we would have the title Bad Apples pop up on the screen. So I reviewed the shot and decided that I had forgotten to add some time at the beginning of that shot. And so I redid it. I did this earlier today. So what I did is added about 1.5 or 2 seconds before the camera zooms in. And while it's not perfect, it's a lot better than it was, I think. So I'm still learning Moho. So the only problem, I think, is that I moved the background at a different time that I zoomed in, which ruins that. But I don't think anybody would notice unless I pointed it out, like I just did. But you can see here, this is what the shot will look like. And then when it comes to this point, where we zoom in fully and the camera stops, we're going to have bad apples, the word bad apples, right here on the side. And so this is going to be the first shot, the establishing shot. We will fade in from black at the beginning. So we'll fade in, zoom in, so you know that this is a little house, and then bad apples. So that's the idea. So anyway, I just kind of want to tweak that a little bit. And so earlier today, what I was doing was I went in here, and so we have a door, and if we get rid of the door, you can see our mother is right behind there. She's kind of hiding. And so what I need to do is I need to animate this mother coming out of the door, hopping across here to the tree, stopping, looking up, and then realizing that there's no apples in this tree to eat to feed her kids. So this is not actually the second shot. This will be like maybe, you know, the sixth shot or so. Maybe I can, hopefully this will not mess anything up because it's kind of a big file to load, but let's load it up real quick, hopefully. So I want to show you guys what will happen before this. So I also, earlier today, what I did was I put the ball and the top and the model train in this shot. So after we have our establishing shot, this will be the next scene where we see the mother and the three kids. And we're going to possibly shoot this in one go. We don't have to worry about how long the shot is, which is really cool. So we can actually have one continuous shot without cuts. We will zoom in on the kids. Which, by the way, let's go to the next frame so you can see their poses here. We will zoom in on the kids here after we spend about maybe 2 or 3 seconds like this, and you know, establishing the inside of the house. So we zoom in, and we'll look at the kids playing, and perhaps do like a little pan here or something. So the little kid here will be kind of moving his the train back and forth. So I can kind of, let's see here. A little train here, we can move it back and forth. And the ball, I rigged to be, where's the ball at now? I think it's up here. So he's going to be bouncing this ball, and I have it where we can do some squash and stretch and stuff. It's pretty neat. And then the other kid has the top, and this has got 2 parts, so it looks like it's kind of spinning. I can turn this top layer on and off, as well as you know, animate it kind of going like this, you know, or moving around a little bit. So I mean, if we have enough time, this would actually be a great shot to start on. But so Omar was asking, do you have any idea about the music and the sounds? So I really don't yet. I'm probably going to do that at the end, and I know that's not really what most stop motion animators will do. So I'm going to close this. Don't save. But really it doesn't matter, because this is going to be a film where everything is visual. All of the, you know, there will be dialogue in that, like the mother and the kids will make sounds, but not actually speaking in any language. So I want this film to be just a universal kind of film that speaks to people on, you know, just action itself, and that's it. But anyway, so those kids that we saw in the previous scene that I just opened up and just closed, one of the kids will become hungry, and the mother's gonna become concerned and come out of the house and want to feed them some apples. And this is like their food source right here, and their food source is dead. Right? And so then the other side of the, you know, the pond or the river or the creek, whatever, is nice and lush, and this is going to be where she wants to get some more apples, right? But this is like another kingdom, and she has to contend with that. So just for now, what we need to do is we need to open this door, and I think we'll start at, let's say like frame, let's go to 36. Let's give ourselves a lot of time here to have the mother come out and whatnot. So I'm not really sure how to do this quite yet, but for now I'm gonna click this, set a keyframe, gonna go forward 1 frame, 37, thank you. And then door almost closed. So I'm not really sure if this is going to work how I want it to. Yeah, it doesn't look like it is. So I'm not really sure how to turn these on and off. This might be where switch layers come in. So But that's okay, because really I need to animate the mother, so even if I don't, that doesn't work out, that's okay. You can always look that up later. Alright, so mother, frame 36. How many doors are there? One, so 1, 6, so 6 frames. Let's go ahead to 39. Okay, so let's go manipulate bones. Should have probably posed her properly before. This will work. So she needs to come out of the door first. And that's a good start pose. I'm just going to imagine that the door is, I don't know, what frame is that? 36, 39. About halfway opened. Okay, and we're going to go, let's go, let's say 43. I gotta kind of think about how this is going to look before I even move anything here. Oops. Alright, just going to push your way out of that door. Alright, so let's try to figure out how many steps it will take to get to the tree. Say like 1, 2, so it's 2, 4, 8, so about 8 steps. I think every 6 frames would be good per step. Get a piece of paper here. Right, so there is some math involved, and this may or may not work. So I'm kind of, what I'm doing when I'm planning this right now is I'm thinking, okay, so there's going to be, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, 1, 2. So we could do it. We could do like long hops, or we could do short hops. What to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go with 6. All right, so 6 hops. And in my mind, I can look at my my fingers and go 1001, 1000, 1001, 1002, right? So 1, when I say the word 1, that's 6 frames. 1000 is 12. 1000, you know, you can just do the math like that and then make your way all the way through to 6. So Okay. What's going on, Amy Scott? Welcome to the show. So we're trying to figure out roughly 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so I'm just going to play this and see what this looks like. Yeah, that's about right, I think. Let's look at this again. Let's extend it a little bit more. Let's go like this. Extend that move just a bit. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10 total frames. How's that going to look? Alright, let's just test it. Yeah, I think this might work. Okay. I kind of want to write on my computer screen to get this to look right, because there's no way that I know of that I can add markers or curves or anything to the screen as I animate this, so I don't want it to look weird. So Whiskey is saying you can set it up a group with all the door frames so that you can turn the group into a switch, then just right click on the switch and pick the door layers as you move through the frame. I see. So I never really learned switch layers yet, but I understand it's not that hard. I did see it on how you do it for lip sync, so I know the concept, and I know it's not that difficult. But I will probably do that after the show. So for now, I just want to get this mother across here, and then I will animate all of her little intricacies as we go along. But I think I'm just going to have her hop across for now, and then I will get all of her little like her eyelids and arms going where they should as well. Here. So I'm not really sure if this is gonna, like, I've got a rough idea of how many frames I wanted this to be done in, but just gonna go with the flow and test it out. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's a good pace. Right, like that. 1, 2. Oop, see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, whoop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thinking somewhere in the middle here. It's got to stop at the base of the tree, so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, where's she gonna end up? I'm thinking, somewhere around. Let me see something here. So, yeah, it's gotta come down more. Okay. Now let's test this out. Let's see how the timing looks. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, I like that. So we got a lot to do on this shot still. It's not just going to be that simple. We got to actually animate all of her, little squash and stretch and all that. So we're going to come back and we're going to go through these keyframes one by one and make sure it all looks proper. Okay. And am I outside? No, I'm not outside. Just my back door is opened. There's lots of cicadas out there. Okay, so let's get this body over like this. Oh, shoot. Yeah, delete that. Had it on the wrong frame, so let me go back here. So I think this back arm, I'm going to move like this. So when she comes out, it'll be as if she closes the door. So I don't have the door there to be seen, but we're going to go like this so that she opens the door and then boom. The door closes right as she passes it. And then by this frame, arms will be in a different position. Maybe her body's like this again. Let me see here, so actually it needs to be like this. So yeah, it takes a lot of concentration and thought as to where everything needs to be. So I know it's hard for that'd be hard for you guys because I'm not saying anything, but I know I'm much more talkative, but I do need to focus. So hopefully you don't mind. What's going on, Dan? Alright, I'm just gonna play it. Alright, yeah, this will work. So it's like right, left, and then this will be right, left, and right, and then left. Actually, I think I'm gonna lower this frame down a bit here. So, and then back to kind of normal. All right. See how this looks now. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Yep. Oh, okay. That's a good idea with whiskey. Well, I already animated her, so I don't need to now. I hadn't thought about that. But you're right, you can actually draw on the screen, right? Yeah, I have a lot to learn. Okay, so up, down, up, down, up. Me like this, kind of like a hand on hip kind of thing. Alright, let's see how that looks. It's got that arm animated. Let's go back to frame, enable frame like this one. Alright, so we can do some ease out on that for sure. But let us go back and now animate the other arm. So the other arm. Let's see. I gotta think about this one. Something kind of strange about the way she's hopping around here, but so I gotta think, how reserved I want this character to be, because if I move her arms around like really flailingly a lot, it's gonna seem kind of absurd. All right, so Owiski says, also remember the keyframes have ease in out by default. To change that, you can right click on the keyframe and pick the type. I did try that once, and that's a good idea. However, I might just actually animate that frame by frame, actually. That's totally fine. So Amy's asking, what is this? So it's a film project where we're animating different characters that we've sculpted out of clay. These are all flat characters. So it's kind of like a cross between traditional animation as well as using computers. That's the only way I can describe it. It's honestly an experiment, because I normally animate traditionally, but now what I'm trying to do is use the modern tools, and this is Moho. and it allows you to animate things in a much more complicated way than before, with just clay on glass and a frame grabber. And I can add things like motion blur in here and all the eases ins and eases outs, and I can zoom in and zoom out and add tons of elements and all kinds of things. So it's a really great tool if you want to check it out sometime. I find it pretty fun to use. But yeah, so I think this arm is just too high here. I'm not going to make her so flamboyant. She's more of a serious character, so. So change of plans here. But yeah, I mean, it's a really fun thing to animate with, honestly. This is really also not as stressful as clay animation itself can be stressful because the timing. Sometimes you want to test things out, and it would take me hours to do one test to see what the timing was like. What they call that in stop motion is a pop through. And if you ever watch the behind the scenes of Nightmare Before Christmas, if you get the DVD, you'll see that what they do is they pre-animate everything, but they'll do it on maybe shoot it every other frame, which they call on twos. And they'll spend a lot of time doing pop throughs, and then they'll try to pitch their shot to the animation director, and it would have been, I guess, Henry Selick. And animators would spend days doing that. And now with something like this is not the same as full-blown puppet animation, but it's it's really something you could try, and you can make mistakes and then fix them later. That's a really great thing in animation, having that ability. And this also kind of gives people, more of that handcrafted feel. The charm of stop motion is that it's all got the fingerprints and all that in there, and so this is kind of trying to do that. So let's see what this looks like. So last hop, boom. So I think for this frame I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go forward 3 frames, move her forward just a little bit. Go like this. Let's see how that looks. Move these back. So that way, just kind of get a little bit of like an ease out here. In fact, I'm just going to move this forward just a little bit for the last frame. There we go. So it won't be such an abrupt stop. So let's play that through. So she's gonna come out the door and then boop, 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 boop. Yeah, that's pretty good. So Wing It Correction says arms on layers with puppet tool. Yeah, they're all separate layers. So these are just, the arms are a layer, the body, the head, and the eyebrows. And also the different facial expressions on the mother as well. So if I open up this, we can we can see that the eyebrows are a layer. We have eyelids we could add in there, which are on layers. So, yeah. But like I say, the whole switch layer thing, how to switch all that on and off, I don't quite know yet. But okay, so let's just play that through one more time. Boop, 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 boop. Alright. I like that. I'm gonna just save as Mother Comes Out of House. Yes. Oh. That's ridiculous. Alright, just save. Does that work? Shouldn't really matter, but Moho is kind of weird, I have found. I've also found, like, for some of these keyframes, certain things you can press delete on and certain things you can't. You gotta, like, right click it and click on, delete or cut. Where is delete now? Let's see. Or go to edit and then delete. Or is it clear? Maybe it was clear. But I had this problem before where I couldn't quite get things to delete when I wanted them to. It's not as intuitive as I would like, but I think this is gonna work. Doop, 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 doop. So this one here, this dip might be just a tad bit too low, so I am going to raise that up a little bit here. Maybe to here, like this. So this is the kind of thing that you cannot do if you're halfway through a shot in stop motion. So I'm really loving this for sure. So boop, 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 boop. 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 So the only thing that I would probably want to do slightly different here is get some head tilt going on in this shot. Because her head is very mechanical in the way it... Yeah, so I think I'm going to do that. So I think I'll kind of tilt the head forward. Now I'll tilt the head backwards. And forwards. And backwards. Alright. So... backwards. And forwards. And eases out. Alright, let's play that, see what that looks like. Oop. And I wish when you press stop it would just go to the beginning. That's a rewind. Alright. Boop, 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 boop. Oh yeah. Alright, so, yeah, cicadas. Where do you live, Wing It? I can't remember where you live. And, so you're asking, did you ever watch my Clan Animation Star Wars parody, Snarkwarts? If so, what did you think? I have watched so many films, I probably have, and I would have to watch it again to refresh my memory. But, so I can't comment on it. Alright, let's just watch the ending here. Make sure this part looks okay. Yeah, alright. That's a good strong final pose where she's ready to get those apples. And I am going to have motion blur in this as well, so a lot of this stuff I'm really anxious to see how the motion blur will look once I render it. But I do have to educate myself some more on this program before I can get the door to open up. So let's actually, you know what? Let's have the door fully opened. Oops. So we can kind of. So she'll push her way out like that. So actually, this is the frame where she needs to have her arm backwards right here. So technically, I need to move her arm like that to make it seem like she's closed the door on this frame. So let's close this, and then maybe I'll have her arm actually come up. Let me see what's going on here. So we got her pushing the door opened, and then the arm would come up, and that's when it needs to be really far back. See where the door is here. So door fully opened. Okay, like this. So about right there. In fact, my arm needs to be back all the way already. And then here we can have her arm kind of come back. Boom, like that. Because your hand would be on the doorknob, right, as it opens. And as she passes, it comes down. It's at the edge of the door. And here, this frame would be about there. Okay. Let's just make sure that looks alright. Yep, looks good. Alright. Boom. Nope, that's not After Effects. This is Moho. Different program. Somebody else asked me about that too, and you know why this is such a great program is that it's just geared for animators, and After Effects is great, but you gotta buy the Adobe Cloud package and all that kind of junk. This is really fun. All right. So, anyways, so I think we're good. So we got her little ease out. It'd be nice to have, when she stops, she's gonna need to turn her head to the right and look up. So, and then she's also gonna have to like change her expression to. I've got this one head for her, which is this one, where she looks kind of shocked. The other thing is that her eyebrows and stuff like that, I had to figure out how to move those around without messing up my model. But anyways, so yeah, Moho, Moho is the program. Yeah, looks good. Great. So this is where she would probably, she would look up, and this is where I had to learn how to do the switch layers. But that's basically, I think, good in terms of how she's turned out. And so until I learn that, there's really not much more I can do here, I think. Oh, I wonder what this little arrow is here exactly. What is this? What are you doing there, arrow? I'm not really sure what that is. That's not the center of my screen, is it? No? I have no clue what that is. Maybe that's just the starting point? Ah, okay. So that's where the mother starts out. It's not aligned with anything. Not quite sure what that is there. Alright. Well, anyways. So I guess that will conclude tonight's show. I really need to learn how to get these layers animated properly so I can change her direction, her head direction, so she can look up, because that's gonna that's gonna make the timing, that's gonna set up the timing for how I animate the crow and this worm, because this is gonna be one continuous shot with just camera moves. So when she comes out, I am probably going to have the camera somewhere like this. Then I'll have it follow her over and zoom in a bit. And when she stops, she'll look up, and then we'll go like this and center on the crow and the worm. So I really can't do that until I learn more about the program. Yeah, so Whiskey is saying that Moho has a forum called lostmarble.com if anyone wants to look into Moho from Smith Micro. And this used to be called something. What was this called before Whiskey? It was Animation Studio or something like that. It wasn't always called Moho. So there are tutorials out there that are older, which could still work. But you have to Google the old name. But what do you guys think of this program? I mean, I can tell you, I'm just having a lot of fun animating something this simple, and it's really rewarding to see it come together as it has, and how I'm able to tweak everything as I go. So my first pass here was just to get the timing, and it looked good at 5 or 10 frames per hop, right? So it looked good, and then once I got that honed in, I just animated the body moving left and right per step, and then after that I animated the arms. Then I went back and I tested out where that door was, right? So I know when the door is behind her and she moves in front of it, it will close properly as her arm closes it, right? So I mean, this is really a great program. I mean, I'm just having a blast. um, oh, Anime Studio or AS. Okay, Anime Studio. That's what it was. Yeah, I think anime. Maybe they thought that the term was limiting because it depends on if you're like, are you into anime? Then you need this program for anime. But it's really just a great general program to do all kinds of stuff. You can do cell animation on this, right? I mean, you can scan in your hand drawn cell animation and then draw over the frames and make new frames, and then you can rig your characters much like I've rigged this one with bones. So yeah, it's really cool. Really a broad spectrum of things you can do with it. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Well, anyways, I'm not going to rewind and play this over and over again forever. So this does conclude our show for tonight. Now, before I end the show, let me just say that I will be setting up another feedback week. Well, I'll actually just change the date. Let me see here real quick. So we have 2 more weeks, right? So today is the 31st. So on August 14th will be our next Feedback Week show. So if you would like us to show and feature your work right here on the live show and discuss it and try to figure out how you've made it and figure out maybe how you can improve it, or if you have any questions about problems you've run into while you have made your short films or your puppets or designs, go ahead and post it in the forums and we'll talk about it. I don't think I've gotten a whole lot of questions from people that have posted their stuff in the past. Like, for example, this is the July 17th. So Dirty Red had posted this, and then he didn't really ask any questions about it. But yeah, anyways, feel free to ask questions, and yeah, I will see you guys all next week. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Or not. We might be here for a while until I can figure out how to stop the show. Here we go. Another tab.